Guys, welcome to the January edition of the Polkadot Community Call. I wanted to kick things off here because I'm conscious of time. Joining us today, we have Council Member Raul here to talk about the latest motions and referenda and proposals and discussions that have happened on Polka Assembly, but also on Polkadot and Kusama governance this last month. We also have Jacob joining us from HydraDX to talk about their Omni Pool launch that launched this month on the 6th of January. Joining us today, we also have Harrison from Dam Finance to talk about the upcoming launch of, I don't know if it's D2O on a few, yes, D2O,
Yeah, D2O.
awesome, on Ethereum and Moonbeam. We have Chris joining us from Bit.Country to talk about KSLAN claiming going live. We have Pierre joining us from Astar Network to talk about XVM. We have Kenny from Manta joining us to talk about their trusted setup, which recently completed and was the largest in history. We have Subwallet joining us today to talk about their Polkadot Deep Dive Q4 report for 2022. We have Ziga joining us from OriginTrail to talk about BuildChain and sustainable medicine partnership. BuildChain is, a sustainable medicine partnership. We have Zachary from Subsocial joining us today to talk about how Subsocial recently won a Polkadot auction and their plans to migrate from their Kusama parachain to their Polkadot parachain. And last but certainly not least, we have RMRK joining us today to talk about EVM and EIPs. So without further ado, I'll hand it over to Raul. Oh, and also, if you guys have any questions while a speaker is speaking, in the lower right-hand corner, you'll see this little chat box. You can post questions and I'll make sure the speakers are asked those questions. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I hope you can hear me okay. My name is Raul, and I'm very excited to say hello to you from Buenos Aires, Argentina, at the Polkadot Academy. The energy here is it's super good. We have a lot of developers learning about Substrate, Polkadot, and Kusama. So I want to thank the organizers for hosting us, and especially the Polkadot Hub for organizing all of the side events around the Polkadot Academy. Last week, I had a conversation on stage with Gavin about governance and the treasury. So if you want to check it out, you will be able to find it on the Polkadot Hub Twitter account or on the Polkadot Twitter account as well. Without further ado, I want to give you my selection of what I think are the most interesting proposals, both on governance and treasury in the last month on Kusama and Polkadot. As always, I will start with Kusama, governance proposals first, and then treasury proposals, and then move to the Polkadot network. So let's start with Kusama. On the governance proposal side, I want to talk about referendum 72, which is up for vote right now. I'm going to talk on Kusama only on referenda from now on, since we have OpenGov up and running. We were able to adjust the parameters the community requested, and we have a lot of proposals right now up for vote. If you go to the referenda tab on Polkadot JS apps, or to any of the wallets that integrate governance, like for example, Nova Wallet, you will be able to see all of the proposals, review them, and vote. Referendum 72 is up for vote right now, and it is a very important proposal for the community because it aims to schedule the new batch of auctions for 2023. After the successful enactment of Motion 438 in 2022 that scheduled 32 auctions, the Kusama community aims to continue including new parachains and allowing those already up and running to renew their slots in this year. You can check the schedule in the link that will be shared also after this call. This is referendum 72, scheduling 57 auctions for 2023. Referendum 74 is also up for vote. This aims to upgrade Kusama to runtime version 9370. Specific details on these upgrades can be checked on the release notes. But among the most interesting things that this runtime will bring, if approved by the community, is that it will allow staking admin track to set a minimum commission for validators, which is a discussion that we've been having already for a few months. It also improves contract address derivation and update weights. So you can check all of the release notes on the release of the runtime upgrade and check on the proposal as well. Contextual information is on Polk Assembly or software or Subsquare referendum 74. Referendum 53, it was already approved by the community, and this one is really, really exciting because Referendum 53 registers the Bridge Hub parachain. The Bridge Hub will be the gateway between Kusama and other networks like Polkadot and Ethereum. For now, the Bridge Hub only contains some basic logic, so nothing regarding or related to the bridge-specific pallets. This will be added in the future. The goal of this proposal was only to get approval from the Kusama stakeholders and a shell operational, so the bridge team can focus on releasing the new logic, the new runtime upgrades, and the community can vote on these upgrades in the near future. Regarding treasury proposals on Kusama, I have selected two. Referendum 73, it's up for vote. This particular proposal aims to conclude the process of opening a bounty proposal. As we know, Bounty 19 was already approved. This is the Infrastructure Builder Program bounty, and this Referendum 73 aims to assign the administrative curators to the Infrastructure Builders Program bounty. The bounty aims to extend the mission of the 1000 Validator Program and to include more validators providing core infrastructure services in a more decentralized, autonomous, fault-tolerant, and self-sustaining manner. These operators chosen for the infrastructure builders programs will be able to lease rack space at unique facilities and deploy own hardware to provide common endpoints and other services to validators. So super, super excited to get this particular bounty going. The second treasury proposal I want to talk about is Referendum 75, which is also up for vote. This is a treasury proposal by Polk Assembly, and it is to cover the development of the UI/UX features that focus on open governance that the team has been working for the past 2 or 3 months. Congratulations to the team for all of the work done on the Polk Assembly side for the community to be able to access the contextual information on OpenGov, the new model, and also for the community to vote. Of course, there are other treasury proposals up for vote in the different tracks. You will find the tracks small tipper, medium tipper, big tipper. Then we have the treasurer, small proposal, medium proposal, big proposals. There are a lot of them, so make sure that you review. You go to the tab on Polkadot.js apps and vote on them. Let's go to Polkadot. On Polkadot, I've also divided these proposals between governance and treasury. On the treasury side of things, we have really, really interesting treasury proposals. So I hope the community engage with them and reviews and make their comments. But let's go first on the governance side of things. Let's start with Referendum 99. Referendum 99 was already passed by the community, and this upgrade the Polkadot system parachains to runtime version 9360. As we know, the Polkadot system parachains on Polkadot is two, statement and the collectives parachain. For statement, this contains updates to the assets palettes. And on collective parachain, this merges the role of founder and fellow into the alliance. This removes veto power and allows fellows to step down to allies. So very important upgrade for anyone interested in the work of the Polkadot Alliance and in the work and what can be done in the collective parachain as well. Referendum 97, which also passed community vote, was a very interesting one. This proposal aimed to help unbrick the BitGreen parachain, which I think we already talked about in the last community call. The BitGreen parachain was upgraded back in 2022, at the end of 2022, from a shell runtime to the latest runtime code. The upgrade executed without issues, but the upgraded parachain runtime introduced a couple of new pallets, which showed some issues, and the chain stopped producing blocks. So in this case, as you all know, the relay chain governance can actually help parachains unbrick and produce blocks again. And so Referendum 97, after this particular proposal was enacted, then the chain was up and running, unblocked and producing blocks again. So congratulations to the BitGreen team, and thank you for going through the process to involve the community. Referendum 94 already passed, was the seeding of the Polkadot Alliance, which it already exists on the collective parachain. The Polkadot Alliance, as we discussed before, aims to fight for an open source culture and open collaboration that benefits the Polkadot ecosystem as a whole. Seven Polkadot projects are the founding members. The Polkadot Alliance was founded by Akala, Astar, Interlake, Guild, Moonbeam, Fale, and Subscan. And the On-Chain Collective aims to support also the development standards and expose also bad actors within the ecosystem on Polkadot. I think I will let the members of the Alliance to discuss this maybe on the next call, but the Alliance should be opening applications for new members really, really soon. Regarding Treasury proposals, I have chosen 5 of them to keep it short, but we have a lot of proposals up for vote and up for discussion. Motion 326, which passed today, aimed to fund the analysis on the use of candle auctions on the Polkadot network, and this is a collaboration study between Web3 Foundation and the University of St. Gallen. So congratulations to the team, and we're looking forward to reviewing and reading the report and the analysis. Motion 324, which passed already council vote, aims to enable pre-checking for runtime upgrades on Parachain. With pre-checking enabled, a Parachain is only allowed to upgrade the runtime after validators have tried compiling it and they agree it is good, as opposed to how it is now. This, of course, brings much more security to the network, and it's worth noting that first, this is not a treasury proposal. I'm sorry, I don't know what I have it in this particular list. It should have been a governance proposal. But second, that this is an external motion, meaning that the council has passed already this proposal and it should be up for vote on referenda queue by the community in order to make the final decision. Another interesting Treasury proposal that is up for discussion, not yet up for vote, is the Messari report production proposal. After the successful completion of the first 4 reports in 2022, Messari is back with a follow-up proposal that aims to scale the research, data science, and engineering resources to build quarterly reports and research capabilities for Polkadot. They aim to continue with the ecosystem-wide report along with the quarterly reports. All of these can be checked along their budget, and some new metrics, some very new and interesting metrics that the Messari team has added to the report deliverables in the proposal. This is post 1521 on Polk Assembly. The second proposal up for vote is the WASM Smart Contracts Bounty proposal, a very interesting one up for discussion right now. The purpose of this bounty is to develop the WebAssembly smart contracts on Parachains and its development for the community to use in an open library. Each of them will be developed by bounties, and the coalition that proposed this particular bounty is Astar, 727 Ventures, Fala, Aleph Zero, and Parity. You can check this particular proposal on post 1491. And then the fourth treasury proposal that I want to mention to you today, because it's strategically an important project for the Polkadot and Kusama ecosystem, is the small dot maintenance and development proposal, which is up for discussion right now. This proposal is seeking financing for the maintenance and development of Small Dot. Small Dot is an alternative implementation of the Polkadot client. It's a light client implementation, and it focuses on using very little CPU, memory, and bandwidth as possible. Small Dot, as I said before, is a critical component in order to properly fulfill the goal of building a decentralized blockchain. So we encourage the community to go and read, make sure to know what this is about. And the team is requesting 3 months coverage for quality and readability, as well as general maintenance. You can read all about it on post number 1536 on bulk assembly. Of course, there are other proposals. I know, for example, the RMRK proposal is also up for discussion with a very vivid debate and discussion. I'm going to let the RMRK team talk about their proposal for them to explain it much better than I do. And with that, I say goodbye to everyone from Buenos Aires, and I hope you enjoy the call. And all of the links will be, of course, shared after the call. Make sure you review the proposals, go vote on the proposals, and if you have any questions, you can always find us on the direction channels. Thank you.
Thank you, Raul. And yes, as he mentioned, that was a lot to take down, so don't worry, it will be shared on the tweet thread that we put out recapping everything that you missed here. Up next, we have Jacob from HydraDX to talk about their recent launch, their recent Omnipool launch.
Hello everyone, thanks for having me. I'm Jacob, co-founder of HydraDX and Basilisk. So as Emily introduced me, we finally launched after some pretty long time and a lot of research and love and effort put it into Omnipool, which was actually back then when we started novel and unique concept, which was adopted later by Bancor. Surprising, finally even a little bit before us. But anyway, we finally launched Omnipool despite like crazy volatility in the first hours stands this battle test very well. We were really excited to see how well it was standing. The launch was like very limited because the whole stack and bridging components and interoperability and everything is still very new. So we have to take like very cautious and phased rollout. Similarly, how Polkadot was basically rolled out in the first weeks and months. Polkadot was also starting like very slowly. So we are taking the similar approach to make sure that everything is working fine and very well. 1 or 2 hours before actually this call, we have another great news that we finally, the community of HydraDX finally add Ethereum as a fourth asset into Omnipool, and hopefully next week we will add also wrap Bitcoin. And alongside, we are also filling pool with more liquidity with DAI coming from our notorious LBP from 2021. And we are excited to increase on-chain liquidity of the Polkadot ecosystem. What is really exciting us that we are finishing last tests for providing liquidity directly from the relay chain and parachain treasuries to Omnipool, which has it has one interesting unfair advantage over all other AMMs and DEXs, that Omnipool is the only kind of DEX which is allowing single-sided liquidity provisioning. That means that Polkadot treasury and its community, and similarly to parachain treasuries, they can take some of the assets in their treasuries and put it in the Omnipool trustlessly via XCM, which is, I think, great use case for XCM itself and like great validation of the best future-proof tech out there, which is obviously Polkadot and XCM, as a showcase that DAO to DAO and Web3 economy is like coming and real and working. So we are super excited by adding more assets and more liquidity. Another unfair advantage of Omnipool will be more and more visible, which is like unparalleled capital efficiency, because you have basically just one big pool and like basically the liquidity shared among all other assets there. So yeah, we are excited to improve such essential component of every tokenized project. Finally, by practical and elegant solution built on Polkadot and Substrate. And we are inviting basically all ecosystem to help us and make this happen, especially in these times when, after all the drama last year caused by either by incompetency or like very harmful decisions or centralized actors or scammers, raggers, whatever, we need rebuild trust more than ever, but in a trustless fashion. So like more truth, less trust, as the one of the main motto of this ecosystem. And yeah, and by the way, like speaking and like following a little bit on Raul and in general governance discussions, we will come soon to Polkadot Treasury with two very exciting proposals. The first one would be a liquidity proposal, which means that we will ask Polkadot community and Treasury to basically allocate some of the dots from Treasury to Omnipool. It won't be grant. The Polkadot community will be still owner of that liquidity, but it will improve radically on-chain liquidity of the ecosystem, plus Polkadot community as the owner of this will be getting all fees generated by this. We are super excited about this. Like, we are putting it to discussion next week. Plus, we put together another what we think would be like very strategic proposal for the whole ecosystem, is creating budget or basically bounty for helping to build up audit ecosystem for the ecosystem and for the parachains, which are operating with some like values. So this mainly DeFi parachains, but also is like pretty much relevant for any bridging project or privacy project, which, as we could see also last year, unfortunately, that shared security is like super important and great, but that still it's not fully protecting us and users against bad code implementations or some like flaws. The stack is like still like really nascent and young. So and most of the audit companies in the crypto in general, they don't even have specialization or skill set or experiences with auditing, not just Rust code base, but also Substrate in general. We are bringing to the ecosystem one of the biggest experts in the Rust and low-level formal verification and security audits. It's our security partner, Runtime Verification, who are also working not just with the crypto companies, but their portfolio is also consisting from companies like Boeing or NASA, where the pressure or where the security is also like extremely sensitive, and they are like one of the leading experts in auditing like very low level systems like Rust compile, like WebAssembly and compilers and other like very low level stuff. So yeah, we are excited for the 2023 finally live. Finally can provide more value to the whole ecosystem, and we hope that we will all together make Polkadot great again.
Awesome. Thank you, Jacob. Up next, we have Harrison from DAM Finance.
Hi, I'm Harrison, one of the founding contributors of DAM. This is our first Polkadot community call as a participant, and we're really excited to be participating here. We're fortunate to already be working with a number of project teams on the call, and we look forward to getting more ingrained in the ecosystem throughout 2023. DAM is a global liquidity protocol that powers an omni-chain stablecoin called D2O, like heavy water. DAM's objective is to help sovereign networks scale native liquidity without the trade-offs of traditional bridging solutions. So DAM's omni-chain stablecoin D2O is initially minted on Ethereum with native USDC as collateral on a one-to-one basis. And there is scope to expand the collateralization profile, but for now we're keeping things extremely conservative, just given our team's focus on security in the current market landscape. And once you mint DAM's stablecoin D2O on Ethereum, you can teleport it over to Polkadot as a native asset through DAM's decentralized reservoir protocol. If you can tell, we really like the water theme at DAM. And the teleportation works through a mint and burn architecture. There are no wrapped assets here. And this mint and burn architecture is inspired by our team's previous work on the enterprise blockchain side, working on like central bank digital currency projects. So when you have your D2 on Ethereum, when you're looking to teleport it over to Polkadot, the first of 3 steps is that D2O gets burned This is through the reservoir, and then that message is passed through the reservoir, which sits on top of existing cross-chain messaging protocols, and then it's ultimately minted on the Moonbeam parachain. So you can think of teleportation in this mint and burn structure similar to like an accounting adjustment in the protocol. And the reason that we use multiple cross-chain messaging protocols is for redundancy purposes. There's also a decentralized guardian running to ensure that all of the mint and burn transactions remain matched to mitigate against any of the underlying cross-chain messaging protocols being compromised. So when D2O is minted on the destination network, which is Moonbeam in this case, it's done as a canonical asset. There's only ever one version of D2O, and anyone holding D2O can teleport it back to Ethereum to claim the underlying USDC collateral on a one-to-one basis. And this helps ensure that the peg is maintained because there's a publicly available arbitrage opportunity. So in terms of our roadmap, we've completed our security audits. We just launched our light paper, and we're just days away from a soft launch with our community. Our public launch will be in early February. And we're extremely excited to be bringing D2O to as much of Polkadot as possible. And we really just want to be part of all of the enthusiasm and innovation in the ecosystem. So thank you again for the opportunity to join the community call, and we'd like to wish everyone who celebrates it a happy Lunar New Year.
Thank you, Harrison. Up next, we have Chris from Bit.Country to talk about Chaos Land.
Thanks, Emily. So, phase one of Chaosland, the first, or the Metaverse Star on Bit.Country Pioneer, started last week. For those who don't know, Chaosland is going to be a community-owned metaverse. Everybody who contributed to the Metaverse Network Pioneer crowdloan received credits to claim land units in Chaosland according to the KSM they contributed. Each land unit is 10 meters by 10 meters and can be merged with other land units to create estates. In the next few weeks, we're going to enable staking. You will be able to stake your NEAR tokens into your estate to boost your BIT rewards. BIT is the in-game token, so to speak. You will need to burn BIT to build inside the world. So the bigger your estate and the closest it is to the 0,0 coordinates, the bigger the boost is going to be. As of right now, there are 430 estates created and 8,557 land owners. Polkadot Arena, Kusama Kingdom, Iceberg Nodes, and other known names in the ecosystem have already claimed their lands. Thank you for your support in the first Crowdland, friends. Looking forward to seeing what you're going to be building on Chaosland. During this week as well, we also announced the launch of the Metaverse Campaign tool. This tool will allow Metaverse owners to create campaigns and reward their users with NEAR, BIT, and NFTs to distribute those rewards to all the winners automatically without the need to write any single line or code or anything. And yesterday, we also announced our plans to bootstrap the first Metaverse on Continuum. Metaverse Network Continuum is going to be our parachain connected to the Polkadot relay chain. And on the 23rd of January, users who contributed to the Metaverse Odyssey event will be able to claim the Odyssey NFT keys, which will give them the right to also claim land units on this Metaverse on Continuum. Apart from the privilege to claim land, we want to give a little bit of hint here. You never know what these keys will unlock in the future. So that will be the updates from Bit.Country. Thank you for having us in the community call. Back to you.
Wonderful. Thanks, Chris. Up next, we have Pierre from Astar to talk about XVM.
Hello, everyone. It's my first time here. I'm Pierre. I'm software engineer at Astar, and I'm doing a WASM smart contract, especially in Ink. Today I will explain what is XVM. So XVM stands for Cross Virtual Machine. So as you know, Astar have WASM virtual machine and EVM. And right now EVM is still widely adopted and a smart contract execution environment. We all know that WASM has a way to go. But we don't want a newly WASM builder to sacrifice on EVM because as a nature ecosystem, there is a lot of tools and dApps already existing. And a new smart contract environment is a closed environment, means that you can basically only do cross-contract calls within this environment. Of course, you still can use third-party bridges, but this is not the same thing as the finality will happen in two different blockchains. Here we are talking within the same runtime. So that's why, thanks to cross-virtual machine, you can, within one call, combine WASM and Ethereum virtual machine to do state changes in the same call. So what will it change for smart contracts? It means that you can, for example, in an Inc smart contract, which is a WASM smart contract, access any assets or contracts available on the EVM side. That means you do not need to have like a different wallet for each environment to control your assets. Or, for example, there is a lot of NFT dApps that are only available in EVM, so you need to use an EVM wallet. And right now, as you can create in WASM a controller of any contract in EVM, you can basically use Polkadot.js or any other native substrate address wallet to control all your assets. So basically, you can create a universal asset controller with a single address. So I hope it will make things way more easier for user. And in the future, we also envision, of course, to integrate XCMP to WASM, and we don't want to only make XCM to other parachain and other pallet contracts in other parachain like Tern or Aleph0, but we also want with XVM to call any smart contract virtual machine of other parachain. And we hope it will act as a universal API. So any cross message targeting Astar can be handled via this unique entry point, and therefore make things really easier for cross dApps. Right now, XVM is available on Shibuya, our testnet, and it's still in active development. There's still some feature to add, and we hope to see it live on Shiden and Astar end of Q1 or beginning of Q2. That's all for me. Thanks for listening.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Up next, we have Kenny from Manta to talk about their trusted setup.
Nice to see everyone again. I'm Kenny. I'm one of the co-founders of Manta Network, and we are specifically working on zero-knowledge proofs to bring privacy to Polkadot and Kusama. And ZK is getting very popular right now. Probably heard about it from your friends or just within the crypto Twitter community. And so along the lines of ZK, one of the main sort of community events in the launch of a zero knowledge proof circuit is what's referred to as a trusted setup ceremony. And we recently took home a pretty big win for the entire Polkadot and Kusama ecosystem by creating the world's largest trusted setup in history. And so that was about 4,300 participants from 177 countries all around the world. And just to put things into perspective, I think there's about like 190 total countries in the whole world. So that was a really decentralized level of participation. So we're really excited about that. And honestly, the more participants there are in a trusted setup, the more secure it becomes. But you know, I'm not going to get into too much detail here. Regardless, the fact of the matter is, right, like we did secure the largest trusted setup in history, got a lot of participation from everyone around the world. If you are one of the people that participated, we also will be sending you an NFT as a token of our appreciation, as well as your proof of participating in the trusted setup. And so what are we going to do after this? We are using that trusted setup to launch our zero knowledge proof circuits first onto Calamari with MantaPay. So many of you guys here probably already tried out MantaPay as well. MantaPay is on our testnet currently. We've gone through 3 different versions, all iterating on feedback after feedback from each chapter of community participation. And with the trusted setup completed, we can finally launch the zero knowledge proof circuits. And so we're going to be doing that on Calamari, and we're expecting MantaPay to launch sometime around mid-February. And then from there, we will be focusing and shifting our eyes towards the goal of launching several new products on Manta Network that we haven't really talked about yet, but we'll go into a little more detail later on as we get closer to launch. So thank you all for your support. Thank you for helping with the trusted setup, and we're really excited to bring everything to fruition on the mainnet launches on Kusama and Polkadot. Thanks again.
Thank you, Kenny. Up next, we have Subwallet to talk about their Polkadot deep dive report.
Hey, thank you, Emily, for the introduction. Hello, everyone. Really happy to be here, and I hope everybody's listening to me all right. I'm DJ. Lead researcher at Subwallet, and today I want to share about our sub-brand Dotinsight, which encapsulates both the deep dive report series and the Polkadot and Kusama ecosystem map made with support from technologies. And I hopped on the November community call last year to share about our vision and mission as a research hub and data platform for the Polkadot and Kusama ecosystem. And since the launch, we have had quite impressive traction that I'd like to share with everybody here. We have published 3 quarterly reports with 3 campaigns that attracted 1.6 million impressions on Twitter, with more than 3 million reach on Twitter itself. Almost 17,000 sessions were recorded on our website and in the Polkadot and Kusama ecosystem map, which we created with support from Parity. We are currently listing more than 500 projects, and the most loved project campaigns that we did in November, along with the launch of the ecosystem map, we recorded more than 16,000 votes casted for the community's favorite projects. And so with that in mind, we are launching this campaign in this month, along with the launch of the Polkadot Deep Dive Report Q4 2022, that focuses on not only the Q4, but the whole past year to see the growth and progress of the Polkadot and Kusama ecosystem. And in this campaign, we focus on 3 key activities. The first one is Polkadot's first 5-year journey. We presented 2 infographic series. The first one is the summary of Polkadot in 2022, what we as an ecosystem have achieved within this year, key highlights. And the second one is an infographic that focuses on the progress of the Polkadot ecosystem in the first 5 years from 2018 to 2022. And in this kind of mini report, we found out that development activities, which Polkadot has been focusing heavily on and priding itself on, have been very consistent, and the number of active developers on the core protocol have been rapidly and consistently increasing over time. And in this year, I think the average number of active developers was 128 per day. And staking ratio remain fairly stable around 50%. The treasury paid out more than 4 million DOT and more than 460,000 Kusama for efforts to contribute to the development of the Polkadot and Kusama ecosystem. And the second key asset that we focus on in this campaign is the Polkadot 2022 wrap up and 2023 moving forward video series, where we invite 23 leaders from key projects within the ecosystem to hop on a video call and share with us their 2022 and their plans moving forward in 2023. And last but not least, the Q4 report that was launched 3 days ago. And as of today, all of the campaigns, we recorded more than 500,000 Twitter impressions. And for the video series, which we ask the leaders to share their, describe their 2022 in 2 words, share the impressive tractions, list the most innovative technologies that their project released within the year, and last but not least, give us a hint of their 2023. We recorded more than 20,000 views of the videos across platforms, and the thread of 2022 wrap up in 5 years reached more than 200,000 audience with overall more than 700 retweets. And the report itself, I think it's available on the tweets that is featured here. And some of the interesting figures that I'd like to share with everyone, it's the number of accounts on Polkadot and Kusama. Compared to Q4 of 2021, dot holders grew more than 3 times, but Kusama accounts skyrocketed to more than 100 times, and the number of accounts on Polkadot has surpassed the 1 million threshold in September last year. And in terms of XCM, I think it's one of the major release within the past year. Overall, over 100 channels has relayed almost 360,000 transfers on Polkadot and Kusama network, and Polkadot parachain sends almost 20K transfer a month, and Kusama parachain sends almost more than 14K messages of XCM per month. And Web3 Foundations, grants, they have issued almost 500 grants by the end of 2022, and we expect the number to surpass 500 within the first quarter of this year. And I think that is what I've got to share. Once again, we are an open source project, so if you like to contribute to the ecosystem map or the deep dive report, make sure to send us a message or create a PR on our GitHub or submit a project if you see yourself missing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, DJ. Up next, we have Ziga from OriginTrail.
Hi, everyone from the Tsama community. It's great to be part of this AMA call once again. I'm Ziga, calling right now from Europe, from Slovenia, and I'm one of the founders of OriginTrail. Just a little bit about OriginTrail for those who haven't heard about it. Our aim is essentially to make a global economy work in a more trusted and transparent fashion. And in doing so, we're organizing humanity's most important knowledge assets. And there are at least two very important components here to our mission. One is OriginTrail Decentralized Knowledge Graph, which has been up and running since 2018, and OriginTrail Parachain on Polkadot. And there have been quite a few very important developments in the recent 30 days or so, and I would point out at least 3 of them. One is the V6 Decentralized Knowledge Graph launch, which is the biggest and the most important update to the OriginTrail Decentralized Knowledge Graph. And inaugurally, this Decentralized Knowledge Graph V6 was baked on OriginTrail Parachain on Polkadot. And along with this, we're also bringing all the traction from the real world that has happened for the last 5 or so years onto OriginTrail Parachain on Polkadot, which is a pretty big deal considering that we have companies such as, let's say, Walmart, Costco using decentralized knowledge graph to exchange audit reports, and so do other retailers from the States doing the same thing. So it's not just supply chain. We go into other kind of directions as well. And just recently, and these are a couple of other events which we are very happy that have transpired and are only the beginning to something that we feel is going to be a great year ahead. one dealing with pharmaceutical supply chains. So just yesterday, the Sustainable Medicine Partnership announced that TraceLabs, which is the core development company of OriginTrail, became part of this great partnership, which brings together several important companies such as the Honeywell, Google, AstraZeneca, Pfizer, and doing so, we would like now to improve sustainability within pharmaceutical supply chains by eliminating waste in supply chains. In doing so, they are looking into our experience with OriginTrail and how we use the technology within pharmaceutical supply chains already in the past couple of years, more recently in India, when we were tracking donated medicines all the way to patients in India. So the same learnings are now planned to be integrated with the plans within this Sustainable Medicine Partnership. So this is the kind of the new big thing within this year with regards to the pharmaceutical supply chain. And also recently, a couple of weeks ago, European Commission announced on their website that they are awarding funds for a project called Build Chain. And the main kind of locus of the Build Chain is to improve sustainability within the construction sector in the European Union. Kind of the biggest challenge within the European Union, and also overarching problem in the world of construction, is that there's around 40% of the total energy which is spent in the buildings alone. So the way we heat ourselves in the winter and throughout the year, and all the rest of the energy which is spent on the construction of those buildings. So Build Chain is aiming towards improving sustainability and efficiency within the European construction sector. And the European Union has awarded some 5 million euros in order to advance sustainability within that sector. And we're happy to report that OriginTrail is also becoming a part of a European-wide consortium that is planning to utilize the decentralized knowledge graph, so OriginTrail's primary technology, in order to generate knowledge assets which are representing buildings throughout Europe. And by doing so, we would be allowing companies that are building, new construction projects to look into those buildings' kind of energy certificates, and then decide whether or not they want to kind of replicate the construction methods with the new projects. So this is kind of an all-around view of what has transpired in the past 30 days within the OriginTrail community. There are several other very interesting developments. Some of them are a little bit long-term, others are a little bit kind of newer. With regards to Polkadot, we're also happy to report that the OriginTrail community has so far teleported some 15% of the total supply of the Trace token onto OriginTrail parachain, and this is all towards building this liquidity base or a token base for the utility purposes, for the projects, for the products and apps that are running on OriginTrail, such as the ones that I touched upon briefly. So for anyone interested in what is going on in OriginTrail community, feel free to join us in our official Telegram. On Discord, there is a very, very helpful community that will help you understand what is going on in OriginTrail ecosystem, how technology works, how to run a node, etc. And I think it's not too late in this year to wish you all Happy New Year and all the best and a lot of successes going forward.
Thank you, Žiga. Up next, we have Zachary from Subsocial.
Hey, everyone. So if you're not familiar with Subsocial, it's just a Web3 social networking platform where users own their content and social connections, which basically solves the problems of Web2 social networks like censorship and algorithm manipulation, that sort of thing. So we recently won auction number 37 on Polkadot with a self-funded bid. After spending a year as a parachain on Kusama and taking advantage of its experimental environment, we're very excited to move to Polkadot to enable more mature enterprise use cases. We will be following the Kilt team, who previously migrated as well. We're very glad they've published instructions on how to do that, so big thanks to them. We will continue updating the community on the progress of the migration over the next couple of months. This coming year, we're planning to spend a lot of time working on integrating with other parachains and projects in the Polkadot ecosystem, either in the form of adding additional utility to Subsocial or adding social features to other projects and applications. To sort of highlight this, we're even co-sponsoring some challenges in the upcoming European hackathon with other projects. One of the main selling points of Polkadot is the interoperability, and personally I love how cooperative the ecosystem is in this regard. We're also continuing to focus a large portion of our efforts on improving our developer experience and doing developer evangelism to attract third-party developers to build on Subsocial. We want to build a really thriving developer ecosystem. As one of the coolest things about Subsocial is that you can access the network from any front end that you want, unlike Web 2 networks where you're forced into a single UI. Like for example, if you want to use Twitter, you either have to use the Twitter app or go on twitter.com. But with Subsocial, we can have 1,000 different applications all connected to the same content and user base. A great example of this is Polkadot Arena, which is a blog focused on the Italian community, and it pulls content directly from Subsocial and displays it on a custom front end. It was created in just a couple weeks by 2 of our community members. You can go find it at polkadotarena.blog. Another one of our main focuses for this year will be to improve the general promotion of Subsocial with better marketing, PR coverage, and improved community focus. Finally, we received Treasury funding in October for continued development of sub.id, the best way to view your substrate portfolio. The name is the URL of the website, so it's just sub.id. As part of the proposal, we added cross-chain transfer functionality to SubID, as well as staking functionality for Bifrost, Moonriver, and Moonbeam. And we're planning to add more. We also added the ability to get your vested crowd loan rewards, which is probably my favorite feature. Before, there was not a central location to do this, so you either had to go to a bunch of different applications for different chains, or go into the Polkadot.js apps page and do it manually with extrinsics, which is not great. But now in SubID, you can do it all in one spot. Currently, we're working on adding support for validator staking for Polkadot Kusama, which should be done pretty soon. And we're getting ready to start working on the second batch of our proposal, which should include some things like a UI redesign to change how you can view your portfolio, transaction history table, P&L analytics, and grouping accounts from the interesting account page. So we're looking forward to a great year, and we'll see you on Subsocial. You can learn more about Subsocial on our website at subsocial.network. Thanks everyone for coming.
Thank you. And last but certainly not least, we have Stephen and Jan joining us from RMRK to talk about RMRK's EVM and EIPs.
Okay, awesome. So thanks for this space. First of all, I'm Stephen. I'm a solidity dev at RMRK. I want to clarify that Raul mentioned that we have a treasury proposal for discussion. This is regarding Pallet, but we are here to talk about EVM implementation. So for Pallet, please go to the Polk Assembly and read the proposal and contribute to the discussion. So for those who don't know us, RMRK is a set of NFT Legos that give NFTs infinite extensibility and forward compatibility. It was born on Kusama, and basically we expect it to be the replacement of ERC 721, which is the original NFT standard from Ethereum. So before going to EVM deeply, we're also working to make RMRK available everywhere. So we're developing the Palette version, which is very advanced. Also working together with Astar for the Teams implementation. We've worked also with the Gear team. So yeah, we want this available everywhere. Okay, so we have in the last week very good news from the EVM implementation, which is already ready to use. But in order to have like more credibility from the community, we started sending them as EIPs, proposing them as EIPs. So we already had proposed 3 of them, 2 are under review, and the third one should be there soon. So the first one is EIP 5773, which is for multi-asset tokens. So these allow for cross-chain schemes, reviewable NFTs, or backing up the NFT metadata on the NFT itself, mixed media NFTs, and in general NFT evolution. That one is in review. Also, EIP 6059 for nestable tokens is also under review. So these allow NFTs to own other NFTs. And here we introduce also a concept of soulbound 2.0, which is that tokens are no longer bound to an address, but can also be bound to an NFT. And in general, this also opens a lot of other possibilities, and for instance, provable digital sparsity, because once you put, for instance, you put a weapon into an NFT, or you send your character into a land on your metaverse, that character is there, so you cannot use it to log in everywhere. It's an important thing for scarcity. And then we have EIP 6220, which is for equitable tokens. This also opens really interesting use cases on gaming and music and other infinite applications. And again, data is on chain, not on a centralized server, which is something we aim for. We'll be sending probably next week another EIP for remotable NFTs, which is the Portal Lego. And yeah, basically you can mix all this together to create a really large amount of use cases. So we have also been working heavily on docs. Jan will tell you a bit about it. Jan, over to you.
Thank you, Steven. So, hello, I'm Jan. I'm also a Solidity engineer at RMRK. And I'm happy to announce that we also released developer documentation, which is available at evm.rmrk.app. And that developer documentation contains instructions on how to use all of our EIPs. So EIP 5773 for multi-assets, 6059 for nestable tokens, and 6020 for equipable tokens. It also contains tutorials on how to start building using our EIPs and Legos, as well as demo implementations. And it contains extensive documentation about our EVM packages, which you can use in the same way that you could use OpenZeppelin ones. So this is a pretty exciting time for EVM. Some projects are already building their collections using our EVM implementation on Moonbeam and Moonriver. Some even have ready collections deployed to Moonbase as well. So if you want to take a look and celebrate with EVM our success, with RMRK our success in EVM ecosystem, we invite you to do so. This is a celebration of RMRK EVM, and we invite all of the Polkadot community to celebrate our success with us and play with our EVM Legos. The best way to do so is to go to our developer documentation, where you can find all the links to the packages that you can use, to the smart contracts, and also to the EIPs, where we invite you to comment on their discussion so they can be as robust as possible. And thank you.
Thank you. And sorry about that, Jan. I just grabbed my phone and muted the whole call. Thank you so much to everyone who tuned in today to hear the January update of the Polkadot community call. If any of you guys happen to tune in late, no worries. This call and the recording is made available directly after the community call via Twitter, so you'll be able to tune back in, see what you missed. Simultaneously, we'll also put out a tweet thread recapping all of these links and all of these things that all of our speakers joined us today to talk about. So if you're wondering where you can learn more, you can just tune back in to the community call, or you can check out the tweet thread. And a big thank you to our speakers who joined us today and took time out of their very busy schedules. That's Raul and Jacob from HydraDX, Harrison from DAM, Chris from Bit.Country, Pierre from Astar, Kenny from Manta, DJ from Subwallet, Giga from OriginTrail, Zachary from Subsocial, as well as Steve and Jan from RMRK. And that was one of our speakers texting me to thank me. So if you heard that ding. All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you in the February edition of the community call.